What's up, guys? What's happening? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hopefully, my Wi-Fi is going to work. All right, so maybe this will work. All right, so like I said, Joe is broke down again. He sent me a picture, and I'll let you guys look at it. The poor fella just can't catch a break, man. So he's on the side of the highway, and he said his truck was just spewing fuel out, as you guys can see here. So that sucks. So he wasn't gonna be able to make it today. So anyway, Harbor Freight's got a lot of new stuff. I agree. Joe needs a new tool truck worse than anybody I've ever seen. So you guys know I'm a fan of the Hercules line, Harbor Freight's brushless. 5-year tool warranty, 3-year on the battery. You walk in the store, you exchange it, no questions asked, and boom, you walk out with a new tool. It's a great lineup. You know, we've used, I've used the circular saw, I've used the reciprocating saw, I've used this impact, the driver, the little 12-volt drill. It's all good stuff. But the warranty on the 5-year tool warranty is just on the brushless stuff. So they've expanded their line, and they've come out with a lot of new tools to go in the brushless lineup. But one of the cool things that they did was came out with these batteries. This is a 4 amp hour 20-volt battery, and it's got the 21700 cells in it. If you guys will go back and watch the video that I did where we actually showed the Hercules lineup when they released them, I did the videos on them, we tested them. They actually have Samsung or LG cells in it. I can't remember now. We showed them in the clip where Jeff from the Den of Tools destroyed the 12 amp battery to see what was inside it, and that's what it was. But they've got the 1/4 inch impact driver. Now I've got the non-brushless version of this, and it works really well. But this is the brushless version that has the 5-year warranty on it. It's brand new. So that's one of the things that they come out with. And they've got the 1/2 inch hammer drill, which is now brushless with a 5-year warranty. And then they've got the brushless 20-volt regular drill. So it's a big step up in Harbor Freight, you know, to come out with the brushless across the whole line. Of course, we showed them when I was at SEMA. I was kind of excited to see the release date on them. As you guys know, I got a lot of the Milwaukee stuff, and I've had some issues with the battery connection issues. So it is what it is. You know, the batteries seem to, on my hammer drill, of course, we used it when we installed the lift to drill through the concrete. You could have it running here, turn it upside down, and all the battery would slide forward just enough that it would lose connection. It sucked. My little 12-volt stubby impacts, I don't know, like some guys say they've never had a problem, other guys say they've had a lot of problems with it. But you know, the battery would vibrate, the vibration of the tool as it's being used would come down, the batteries would slop out and not work right. So it is what it is. I'm changing all over everything that Harbor Freight's got in the brushless line. That's the direction I'm going. The connection issues just don't seem to be there, as you can see with this type of battery, the way it locks in. There's really not a whole lot of wiggle in there that can get slop, and the way it's designed, it's not going to let it go forward, which is the only way it can come off the tool. That was the first thing that I checked when these come out. I definitely like the battery engagements on those. So props to whoever come up with the Hercules line at Harbor Freight. I feel like they did a good job. So there we go. Joe needs a GoFundMe for a new tool truck. I agree. He definitely does. He's had a rough time with his tool truck. So, but I guess from what he said in the text that he's going to be waiting on a tow truck to come, and they're going to have to tow it all the way to Tupelo. And from what I gather, he's north of Corinth, so that's probably 40 miles, and then there's another 30 back to Tupelo. So, you know, I don't know, sucks. If I was him, I'd definitely be ready to find a different tool truck, or, you know, something, because it is not working out very well. Every time he gets it fixed, it seems like something else happens. But it seems like that's transits across the board and not just Joe's truck. So there's definitely some issues there. But I just wanted to kind of jump on here and give you guys kind of a quick update, you know, what's going on with Joe. Somebody says, what's the best Knipex tool and what's the best Icon tool? Personally, I think the best Knipex anything is the 10-inch Cobras, just because they're so versatile. You can do so much with them, from, you know, the big stuff to the small stuff. The 10-inch is just a right size. You know, it's got a big enough opening. You can do pretty much anything that you need to with them, but it still has the thin head to allow you to get into spots. Icon tools, man, you know, people can hate on them all they want to, but you know, they're pretty damn good tools. You know, the Icon ratchet, you know, I had the one that was supposedly, you know, defective or whatever, and it worked fine. You know, I had no issues with it. And then I'm trying to find some of that Icon stuff that I thought was good. Their screwdrivers are really good. You know, they did a good job emulating Snap-on. Their double box end ratchet wrenches are, you know, they're very good for the money, especially. You know, they make some good tools, you know, and it's a whole lot more affordable than buying a Snap-on. Well, thank you, Buck Brown. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of you know, people doing anything on the pack car engines when we first started doing some work on those. And, you know, a lot of it was super simple stuff that, you know, guys could do themselves and force a regen. If you own a pack car, you definitely need to look at the OTR performance tool. It's well worth the money to invest in this. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, so if you own a pack car, or pretty much any over-the-road truck that has emissions on it, which we all know emissions are a huge pain in the butt, these things are well worth the money. There's a link in almost every single video that I do, because I'm a firm believer in these. You can buy a simple code reader that does heavy duty, and let's say it's your knock sensor. You can take the knock sensor out in the parking lot. You can go in, you know, a pack car dealer and swap it and get you another one, and go out there and screw it in, clear the codes, and force a regen right there with this. This tool, the way it comes in this little black case, and you just throw it under the seat in your truck. It's super simple. There's nothing to worry about messing up on this tool. You simply plug it into your truck. into the OBD port, plug this in to the scan tool, and all the instructions are right here. You know, push and pull the parking brake. You know, if it's a manual transmission, you engage and disengage the clutch. It's automatic, you put it in neutral. Everything's right here. And once you go through those steps, it will automatically force a regen on your truck, which will allow you to clear the codes out, get it out of derate mode and go. One of the advantages of owning this tool is if you do go into a derate, 90% of the time, you're gonna pay a tow bill. If you've ever had a big truck towed, you know you're looking at about 900 simoleons on a good day to get the truck and trailer wherever you need it to go. One time of using this tool, you know, you could buy 3 of these tools for what it costs for one tow bill. These things are worth the money. They got them for Cummins, Detroit's, you name it. They've got an OTR performance tool for that. Like I say, there's a link in almost every single one of my videos, and it'll give you a small discount. It's not a ton, but every little bit helps. Plus, you know, it covers the tax and shipping at least. But take a look at these. I've done a video on the channel showing how well they work, and you know, it's a good peace of mind to have, because you never know when your truck's going to go into derate, and it will happen. Let's see. All right, so Boy Brew, he was asking about the Snap-on truck. There's a video in there. It's not been that long ago. I think it was called like Snap-on Friday, What Actually Really Happened or something like that. We go through the whole process of Hamilton and what went on there. The Cornwell dealer, well, that's Joe. He's no longer a Cornwell dealer. He's an independent guy. When he first started coming, he was a Cornwell guy, and that's what started the Cornwell Mondays. Hey, Donald Hollums, how are you, sir? Yes, the question was, is my Matco box working out for me? I love it. I think it's a beautiful box. I like the extra depth. So I can tell you this from what I know. I've had a couple of Master Series boxes prior to this one. The depth's what really makes these boxes stand out above the rest. You know, I got the biggest 6S that they make, obviously, with a top box and a locker on each side. But that depth is really what makes these boxes stand out. You know, with my old box, my Matco box, the gap between the top box and the bottom box was horrendous. I mean, it was 1.5 inches on the outside. It looked freaking horrible. You know, it was definitely not something I was proud of, and that's what my eye was drawn to every time I seen it. So this was kind of the deciding factor, and I have to say Matco did a great job. Matco Michael was aware of the problems that I had and why I didn't like that box. So he actually contacted someone at Matco, and they actually took a tape measure and put up here to show me the gap of what it was going to be on the finished product. And to be honest with you, that customer service is what sold me on it. You know, they did a fantastic job with that. One of the things that I do miss about my Snap-on box, though, over this box, and it's a very minuscule thing, you know, that I'm complaining about, but I prefer the latch system with the slide versus the detents. Because when I first got this, I had them turned down to 0, and man, it felt like he was gonna jerk the box over trying to open it. And it took them a really long time to get broke in, but after they got broke in, you know, it worked really well. But you know, to me, the little lock-in latch or whatever they call it with Snap-on, I still prefer that to the Matco latch with the detents until they're broke in. Once they're broke in, it's all good. Now, if you had to move this box a lot, like this one, if we roll it back and forth across the shop or whatever, you know, the detents don't seem to work as good, because if you're moving your box a lot and you got it to where it opens fairly easy, you can see how that catches. It's kind of got that little wobble in there. They'll come open with the detents where they didn't with that sliding lock type, whatever you call it. I don't know, lock and roll or whatever Matco calls it or Snap-on calls it. But that's kind of one of the negatives that I've seen with it. Other than that, I like it. I flip my shelves over. For you guys that know about Matco, you can actually take the shelf all the way out and flip it over, and it kind of makes a drawer instead of the flat shelf. Like you can see how it's the flat shelf on this side. It's got the gap where you can take this out and flip it over, and it'll kind of make like a sliding drawer, which is really good if you use it like I've got it here. You can see how I've got it flipped over, that all your stuff kind of stays contained in there. So it's a great advantage to be able to customize it like you want. And probably the only other negative complaint I had with this box is right after I got it, this cable sort of had a kink in it and you couldn't close the drawer good. Like it would get to there and you just couldn't physically shut it anymore. And Michael come and looked at it and ordered a new power cable thing for it and was back in business. So not really that big a deal on that deal. Yeah, I like the blue Snap-on box that I had, but like I say, when I ordered the top box, and it was kind of stupid. You know, I've talked about this on several videos before. It was really damn frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, because when we put it on, we picked it up. Me and Hamilton picked the top box up and set it on the box, right? Well, we was on the back side of the box, and the back's flush. Like, there's no gap. And I walked around the front side before we put the lockers on. I was like, oh man, we done messed something up. It's got this big old gap in the front side. But it was where they had the bracing, so it was just meant to look ugly, which is freaking stupid. I'd rather have the back of the box have the gap on it, because I don't give a shit what the back looks like, you know, because it's gonna be against the wall. But needless to say, that's the only reason that I got rid of that blue Snap-on box, was because of that gap there. It drove me insane. I didn't like it. That was the whole reason why I got rid of that box to start with. Okay, Frosty the Iceman is talking about he just invested in some bolt biters and was asking about the RBRT bits and sockets. He doesn't have a Mac dealer, but he can get Proto. They're great. You know, the bolt biters have their place in the world, there's no doubt. Obviously, it plainly says on there, you know, not to hammer them on. We've used them in situations where you had to hammer them on because that was the only way it was going to work. The problem is with any extractor socket, and let me just get them out. I can kind of show you a little bit more than, let me find where I got my socket extractors. I can show you a little bit more about the difference in them, right? So here's your bolt biters, and you can hammer them on. The problem where you damage these, even though it says don't hammer them on, you got to at certain times. You can see where this one's kind of splayed down on each one of the little marks here on the side. The problem is getting it back off, and that's where, you know, the RBRT with the foreign object removal really works, because it's got that threaded part that'll push the material out. It's a lot better design. The negative is, you know, the RBRT are designed to hammer on. Most of the time you strip a bolt because you can't get easy access to it, right? You can't get on it straight with the impact, or there's something in the way that's preventing your socket from fully engaging with the head of the bolt or the nut. So if that's the case, there's a pretty good chance that you're not gonna be able to get in there and hammer it on. So bolt biters are good because naturally with the twist, they'll grab, but they do not work as well, in my opinion, as the RBRT. And getting the stuff out of them is way worse than the fight of the tool. So we was talking about the icon stuff earlier. I know the guy was asking about the icon stuff. I know if you take a close look at the Mac T-handles, the icon, I'm not saying they're made in the same factory by no means, but they're really, really close to what these are, and they look really good. As far as usage, I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's definitely worth taking a look at. I'm trying to find one other thing here and show you guys. So we was talking about the RBRT extractors, and Nipex makes a tapered extractor. I've got like 3 or 4 different brands of tapered extractors since we're talking about the RBRT stuff. So this is like a common twist style. I know you guys seen the one that's fluted, but that design is just garbage. I mean, it'll work if you're lucky as crap, it'll work. But the design of the RBRT, and here is the fluted style, or the square style, whatever you want to call it. It's just a terrible design. But now this RBRT is clearly the kicker when it comes to using these. And it's kind of a weird looking design, right? It's sort of a straight cut extractor, but it's designed to drive down in there, you hammer it on, you can tighten this collar up against what you're working on to break it loose. Once you get it out, you twist the bolt and it will push whatever you've got on the end of it out. These they just work better. It's a better design. It was more thought out, a lot better to spend your money there than buying those cheap ones. Because if you've ever broke one of those off, you know life really begins to suck at that point. So yeah, I moved a bunch of stuff around in my box, rearranging stuff, because I had, like, that's another thing that drives me nuts. Let me show you this. So these are a complete waste of space. These paper drawers, or whatever the crap they're called. So I'm fixing to drill these rivets out and reclaim these drawers, because those completely waste space. Because I've got like all my coking stuff that I'm wanting to put in here. Like this is the Nepro stuff, and it's kind of one of those drawers that you're never going to use the stuff, but you know, is there if you ever did need it. But so I moved some stuff around, trying to get all of my coking stuff to put in one spot. And then of course then my pry bars are too long for this drawer, so I had to separate a bunch of stuff over, and it's a total pain in the butt. And I don't know about you guys, but you can move one drawer in a toolbox and everything gets off kilter, because then you have to move everything around. I appreciate that, Chrysler technician. I wanted this box for a while. You know, I kind of fell in love with the Rebel X series box, and I did a lot of checking. That was kind of where I had my heart set when I ordered this box, but I couldn't get the top box with a 3-bay. So we kind of had to go backwards on it, you know, go with the 6S, but I'm glad I did. I mean, I like it. The depth's what really makes these boxes stand out above everything else. Yeah, Joe's van, like it's a bad deal. You know, it seems like it's breaking down every time you turn around. So the 4S and the 6S is probably the same side locker, obviously, other than the depth. But you know, it's pretty much the same design you're going to be looking at. Um, you know, there's just not a whole lot you can expect out of a locker. You know, it's got the drawers on the bottom, and then it's got the shelves, you know, that you can do. Like I say, you could probably, I'm sure the 4S is the same. You can flip those shelving over to make drawers like over here. That's just the locker flipped over, so you can still have your casings in there the way you need it. So earlier, somebody was asking me about Knipex. So as we talked on the Matco truck, obviously the green handle Knipex are selling well. And it's kind of a shock because they're so damn expensive, you know. You can buy pretty much 3 sets of the Cobra sets, and a 3-piece set for the same price you do the one green handle. And I was really looking forward to seeing those in person. And when she showed them to me on the Matco truck that day, I just couldn't pull the trigger on them. You know, they had the smooth grips instead of the texture grip. And I got to thinking about it. I thought, geez, man, this is ridiculous to pay 3 times the money just because it's got green rubber, you know. Um, I just don't see the benefit for me personally. That's why I didn't get them. I just thought it was way too much money for that set. Way too much. On the bottom box, have you found a use in 4 identical drawers on the left and the right of the box? Yeah, that's what I was showing a while ago. I actually opened some of those, but I actually like it, you know, because like on this side, I got my taps and dies, you know, in the smaller drawers, because obviously you don't need that much depth. And then like my socket extractors, I keep them on the right hand side in the deeper drawers. Have you ever heard or used a tool or tools called the rescue bit? They can actually cut through broken bolts and extractors, or at least how they're advertised. No, I don't know. I'd like to see it drill into a broken tap or an extractor, because that's where things get really messy. You know, trying to get stuff like that out. Um, have you heard anything about a Snap-on truck coming? No, but Snap-on did do a route survey, and I was here the day they did it. So apparently they've talked to someone or been talking to someone. Hopefully they'll get us a good guy, you know. But to be honest with you, you know, it's kind of like this. You're better off without a dealer than you are with a bad dealer, if that makes sense. And for you guys that's never experienced a bad tool dealer, you may not know what I'm talking about. But a bad tool dealer is almost as bad as a toothache. Like, it's pretty much worthless. Um, and you guys know the ones I'm talking about, the tool dealers that will sell you stuff, but they don't want to stand behind anything they sell. You know, and there's a lot of guys that I see on my channel, you know, their tool dealer comes every 2 weeks or whatever. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't purchase tools from that guy. You know, I would hate to know, you know, that I bought a, you know, for instance, which this is a Mac grinder, but let's say you bought a Mac grinder and your guy only comes every 2 weeks. Well, that would suck to have to wait 2 weeks to get a tool replaced. And then if you don't have it on the truck, you have to wait and get it again. So you're looking at least a month downtime on the tools. And to me, that's just not worth, like, I wouldn't buy tools from that guy. I just tell him, say, look, if you can't come by every week, you know, I'm not going to be your customer. Like, there's no need in you wasting your fuel to come here because of me. And for the guys that their dealers refuse to warranty stuff, like, I'm going to tell you straight up right here, I know for a fact that it doesn't cost these guys anything to warranty tools. Now, when I say that, I want you to look at the whole picture, right? So let's say you're on this route, but you don't really buy anything from Matco Michael, and you come on his truck and you expect him to open a set, break a set to sell it to you, or to warranty a tool that you've got broken, maybe that he didn't even sell to you, right? So pretty much that sets down until he gets his replacement in for it. Now, I could see where he wouldn't want to break that set to give you a warranty if he doesn't have multiple sets on the truck, because the last thing you want to do is knock your guy out of a sale. So always keep that in mind. Like, if you're a good customer and you're buying tools weekly from the guy, I don't see any of our dealers refusing to warranty anything like that. But for the guys that have had those kind of dealers, I would take a step back and think about my purchases that I'm doing from them. Oh, a deaf filter O-ring blowout. That is a terrible. It's always an O-ring. Every time, it's always an O-ring. So, yeah. Any thoughts on the magnetic induction heaters? You know, I looked at buying one of the, it was like the Bolt Buster, I think. And then I looked at some Induction Innovation ones. And I did a little checking, and some guys say the Induction Innovations, they didn't want to warranty them. Some said that they bought the Bolt Busters and they didn't want to warranty them. You know, it's all about warrantying a tool, right? Like, shit, it's hard to beat here when you can walk in a store and exchange it. So that's one of the things I always try to read on, more so than does it work really good? Does it last a long time? Usually that's the first couple of things people look at. I'm more of a when it breaks, because it will break. It ain't if, it's when it's going to fail. How hard is it going to be to get it replaced? You know, that's why I'm big on buying stuff off the tool trucks that, you know, I know they're going to be able to warranty and I know they're going to be able to take care of. You can spend a lot of money on a tool truck. If you're not getting the service to back it up, that's kind of your fault, because it's your fault you keep giving that guy business. You know, it's kind of a two-way street. You know, luckily I was blessed. Jovan Hamilton's one of the best tool dealers in the whole world. You know, that guy was a stand-up guy. I bought a lot of tools from him on tool truck credit that most dealers would make you put on a truck account, or, you know, a RA account or a Snap-on account, whatever you call it. Like, but he knew that I was always going to pay him every week. You know, like when I bought my scanner, I'd already, you know, bought the bottom box, and then later I come back and order the side lockers and the top box, and all that was kind of paid for. And I'm like, I just don't want to go back into another, you know, paying interest on this crap. You know, it's retarded when I could, you know, keep using my OTC scan tool that I had. And, you know, and he's like, well, I'll sell it to you on truck account. You know, when I knew I could get it 0% interest, it was kind of hard to turn that down. And I knew he'd stand behind anything I had. It made a huge difference. Luckily, Michael is the same caliber dealer. You know, Michael will stand behind anything he's got. I actually bought some of these little air line pliers. If you guys haven't seen these, need to check these out. These are one of the coolest things. If you work on trucks with air brakes, these things are amazing, right? So I showed these before on my channel, but I got them off the Matco truck, and you can see they look pretty crappy, but they work really good. You simply put it in there behind your airline coupling and you squeeze it, and it does those quick disconnects really easy. So anyway, this was the one I broke, which is the straight one. From Michael, it was clear it was a defect in the tool, like the handle broke here when we was applying pressure on it before it popped loose. And anyway, it broke. So I called Michael and he just warranted it out for me. He had another set on the truck. And he just swapped it out for me right there, and that was nice. But those are well worth the money if you guys do much with airlines. I run 2 routes, so I run every 2 weeks. If there's a problem with tools, my customers know to text or call, and I will get tools to them that way. That's fine. Like, that's perfectly fine if you're able to text your dealer and then meet him and get stuff swapped out. But from what I've read, some of these guys, like, they're just every 2 weeks. Like, they don't see their guy, they can't get him to come back on the route, can't get service done. And that's just a bad business deal, in my opinion, for a guy purchasing tools. But if I could text you and you meet me or bring me the tool that I need, or if I needed another tool, that's not a big deal. Because you're probably saving some money by not having to get on that truck every week, because everybody always finds something they got to have every week by going there. So. Yep, there's definitely a difference between the green O-rings and the black O-rings if you're doing AC work. That PAG oil will play hell on some systems. But like, this is another prime example of a tool where you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on the tool truck. Obviously, this is a snap-on light. If you notice, it looks really eerily similar to a Maxion Cyclops light, and I've showed them on the channel. The body's housings is the same way, like, very good lights, but the snap-on light's going to cost you 3 times the money. You buy the Maxion for at least a third less, and it's just a good light. So, and it carries the same 1-year warranty. These are the same way, the Astro 5.2 SLs. They have a wireless charging base. Let me show you how awesome these are. So instead of having to fool with plugging in your light, which is not a bad deal, but that sure is much easier to get it to charge. Just stick it on there and go. Now they've got the same thing with a snap-on light that I've got up here, and you can see all I've got left is this one because I've got the other one in my service truck. But they've got a light that's really similar to the 5.2 SL that I just showed you, the Astro charging light, and it's way more money. So if you're looking for an affordable budget light that's bright, it holds up, and it works really well, take a look at those Astro lights, because the 100 SL, like I can show you, we've got these 5.2 SLs everywhere. Here's another one. There's another one. That one's on charge. I think I've got some that's over there on the roll cart, but they just work. They're easy to charge. They've got a hook on the bottom. They've got the light on the end, as you can see there. Mash the button again, have the side lights. Like, it's just a quality light for not a ton of money, and it's a very, very good light. As far as the snap-on dealer, they've done the route survey, but we haven't heard anything on anybody coming in or not. A bidirectional scan tool. I've got the Snap-on Pro Link, and I like it a lot. I've also got the Top Dawn Elite. That's a really good scanner. Obviously, since we don't have a Snap-on guy, you have to look at other options on scan tool stuff. I don't know, I really like the Snap-on scanner platform, but the Top Dawn is really nice, especially like I think it's called the Ultra, that's got the HD box and the scope and all that. It's really comparable to the Maximus 4.0 by Matco. It's a good scanner, and I've got one of those 90 amp battery chargers from Top Dawn, and I can tell you, boys, if y'all charge many batteries in your shop and you want to get them charged quick, that's a beast of a battery charger. Like it's a bad deal. It's the real deal. It's a good charger. So check those out too. Yeah, Kelvin. I've actually mentioned that to Hamilton before. You know, we thought about just going out one night and just, you know, turning on live stream and doing a video, but our our schedules are just, it's just not worked out very well for us. And he's busy. You know, he's got a lot of houses he's flipping and working on right now, and you know, we'll definitely make that happen at some point. So looky there. Y'all have been graced by the presence of a celebrity in here, boys. If y'all don't know who JR Premium Tools is, that is Mr. Jeremy Cox. So he's a Mac dealer, and the guy's got going on. He buys a new tool truck like every 3 months, it seems like. So evidently the money is flowing like water up in it's Kentucky. So, you know, if you need some Mac tools in Kentucky, that's the guy to talk to, because he's liable to just throw in a tool truck when he delivers it, because he's got so many of them. He's only got 3 tool trucks, he says. He needs to order another one. What you need to do is send one of your wore out tool trucks down here for Joe, and that way he can keep running, because his truck's always down. But anyway, guys, I think I've kept y'all long enough. I just want to get on here and show you some of the cool new stuff and kind of let you know what's going on with Joe and the bad fortune Joe's having. So it is what it is. I hate it. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. If you like the video, hey, hit that thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, click that button. It don't cost you anything, and we'll always have some fun no matter what we're doing. You guys have a great night. Still got 4 more days to go. That sucks. Y'all be careful. See ya.